Well, hello, folks out there in YouTube land. Got a big show lined up for you. Let's get right on into it. All right, folks, we need to be talking about Alabama here for a minute. They got too many QBs down there, too much talent in that one position, and I think one of them is going to be out at some point, probably this spring is what it appears. It's really hard in 2025 to keep a lot of talent at one position, especially quarterback, because there's one football. So we're going to talk about this and discuss what Debor is going to do. And it may not be up to Kalen or Ryan Grubb, the new offensive coordinator. It may be up to a player kind of seeing how things are and reading the tea leaves. Now, the three players they've got, Ty Simpson seems to be the leader in the clubhouse. He was a former five-star out of the state of Tennessee. Now, Alabama got him, or Nick Saban did. As you can see, he was the 29th player in the country. That was during the whole mess with Jeremy Pruitt. And Jeremy's suing the NCAA for $100 million.
You think that'd be enough?
I just don't see him getting that money. That just seems crazy, given everything that he did.
No. No.
But anyway, that's why Ty Simpson went to Alabama, or he may just gone there because he liked Nick Saban. But I've watched him play. I watched him play a little bit in regular games and also a spring game. Nice arm. Got tremendous arm talent. Not a dual threat guy to really speak of. I think he will fit pretty well in a Debor offense, as we've discussed. When they had Jalen Milroe last year, I said that's the wrong quarterback for his offense. And boy, did I take the grief from a lot of Alabama fans.
Now Kane. Well, they're a tag team now.
I wasn't getting on Jalen Milroe. I thought he was the best running quarterback in the country. He just didn't have touch. He didn't have a lot of accuracy. And that's what you need in a Debor offense. And I know this because I've looked at his past history. And I showed y'all this chart. You know, the quarterbacks that he's had in the past that he had a lot of success with, Hainer and Michael Penix Jr., they weren't running quarterbacks. Matter of fact, they barely ran at all, whereas, of course, Jalen Milroe is a run-first quarterback. And this is where Milroe wants you to be, around 4,000 yards, not 2,800. His offenses have tremendous movement. They're constantly shifting and causing all kinds of problems with the defense, and he needs his quarterback to have great timing, and he needs to put it right out there between the linebacker and the safety, and then all heck breaks loose. And that's just something Milroe could not do. So he was very limited what he could do with the offense. He also didn't have his main man with him, Ryan Grubb, who had gone to the NFL. So that dynamic duo is back, which may not be a good thing for SEC clubs out there. I'm concerned about it because we got to play them this year. Tennessee has been fortunate to win 2 out of the last 3 years. Thank goodness. That has been awful, having that huge streak against us. But we have had some victories recently. But they're going to be tough. Anytime you play Alabama, it's uphill battle. Now, the next player we're going to talk about, and this is a big-time five-star they got this year, and he's a freshman. And this guy, I've been watching his highlights. He's going to be problematic long-term. I never worry about a true freshman the first year. I just don't, because they make too many mistakes, interceptions, screw-ups, all that kind of stuff. Even DJ Lagway did a bunch of that. And they can win some games for you, but they're not going to take you to the promised land. But I see some things with this dude that can make him a nightmare for a lot of teams. As you can see, he was rated a perfect 100. He was the #1 player in Texas, #2 in the country. Oh, man, that's ridiculous. His rating is that of basically a Nico or an Arch Manning. And I'm going to show you some highlights of this dude. And here's the problem I see with him for other teams. He's kind of a taller Bryce Young, and he shows you some of that in these highlights. And you'll see it right here. See this escapability, and then he makes the magic right there. That's a Bryce Young move. You think you've got him sacked, and they get a touchdown. Bryce did that to us multiple times. He drove me nuts. Now, here's the play. This has got Bryce Young written all over it. Watch this right here. Zip, zip. Oh, you won't be getting me. And there he goes. And look at that speed. Ah, you got to be kidding me. They all had angles on him. Folks, that's a problem there. That's Bryce Young, a taller version. Now, I don't know if he's going to be as much of a magic man as Bryce was, but there's a reason that dude's number one. So anyway, you're going to see him in the future. I can go ahead and tell you, maybe not this year, but in the future. All right, now we're going to talk about Austin Mack, who is a fine athlete. He's 6'6". I always worry about guys that tall. Nico's that tall. It takes some time for them to develop because they are so lanky. You know, they have to grow into their body. And this guy's getting there. I mean, this will be his third year, I believe. So he may be getting there, but it's going to be hard for him to break in with Ty Simpson having been there so long. And they've got this new phenom coming in. He may be the odd guy out, and I'm going to show you some reasons to think that here in just a minute. Now, this guy was a solid 4-star. You can see he had a 92, number 67 overall in the country, number 8 quarterback. So he's no slouch or anything like that, but the word on the street is that he may be the odd man out and that it may be transfer portal time for him in the spring, or, you know, he may stick out the year. You never know. It's not like you're stuck there for years and years, but you know how these kids are, man. If they don't think they're going to get a legitimate chance of playing, they can go somewhere else where they can, and there's usually some money waiting on them. And one of the channels I like to keep up with when it comes to Alabama, you know, I like to watch Kangaroo and, of course, Matt Be Great. But when it comes to the nitty-gritty of hearing from former players, the Bama Standard's great. I mean, they just get right in there and they tell you exactly what they think. They sugarcoat nothing. And it's a fun channel if you want to get into the nitty-gritty. But here is what some of the former players think about this QB race.
Is Key Russ and Austin Mack. Like that's
that ain't no battle.
Which is not really a battle, as Smoke mentioned, but that's what they're making it out to be between Key Russ and Austin Mack. But Ty Simpson's number one.
So what do you mean by it's really not a battle, Smoke? What do you mean?
Austin Mack is not going to challenge Keelan Russell for any jobs at Alabama at the quarterback position. If that's a problem, and if K. Russell can't beat out Austin Mack for a backup position, then Alabama really has a problem. I think that Austin Mack probably at the end of spring be in a spring portal.
Oh, wow.
Because if he's looking at it, and I'm not saying nothing about the kid's ability. I'm just saying the circumstances and the position that he's in.
Yeah.
And think about it like this. If Ty Simpson is appointed and he's earned the starting job going into fall camp, then you have a young man that has 4 years of eligibility, the 5-star recruit that's coming in, that's going to be the backup. Ty Simpson only has 1 year eligibility left.
Right.
That means he plays this year out. If he's a starter, then you're going to have to sit behind a 5-star player that's already in front of you. So what's your chances of playing if you've already been in college for this would be year 3 for him?
Yeah, so that does make sense to me. And you don't look, again, there's one football. So it's not like you're a running back. You know, they have the tandem running backs and, you know, you can, any other position, you don't have to be number one to get plenty of playing time. At quarterback, you absolutely do. And you almost never see them doing the 1 and 2 like they did at Florida last year. And the reason I think they did that was to keep DJ from thinking about transferring out when they had Graham Mertz. Plus, he was really good. So that you might see something along those lines. Who knows? Keenan may actually end up taking over for Ty Simpson by the end of the year. But it feels like, from everything that I've watched on YouTube about Alabama, that it's Austin Mack's probably going to be the odd man out. And again, you can't be the backup behind Russell, because then you're just doomed. So anyway, wanted to talk a little bit about Alabama quarterback situation because it's intriguing. And we'll see what happens with Ryan Grubb coming on board with Kalen Debor, putting the old band back together.
We're putting the band back together.
It's one of the things people are talking about the most. The story inside the story, I know it intrigues the crap out of me. I want to know how they're going to work together in the SEC. They work great together elsewhere. And there's a lot of pressure at Alabama. You know, they only won 9 games last year, which is, for them, a tragedy. And, of course, Vandy beat them, which is, I'm still in shock over that one. But anyway, this is a story to keep up with for sure. And I did want to cover this because I was wondering who was going to be the odd man out. And now it appears it's going to be Austin Mack. You never know, though. Things could change in the spring. But an interesting story nonetheless. If you like this content, be sure to hit that like button. Let's me know continue to cover all these big college sports stories. If you've not subscribed, boom, 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 hit this little button right there. It won't cost you a dime. Help you get my videos. And right over here is the most recent video. YouTube, thanks, you'll enjoy. We'll see you next time on Sports Talk Jay.
High tide, guys. High tide. High tide. High tide. High tide.